it's Jen. Welcome back to Bookish Blonde. I want to hop on here today and share with you some of my favorite mystery thrillers. Now, there's more than what I'm about to share. If I sat here and talked about every mystery thriller book that I've enjoyed over my lifetime, it would be a million years long. But I was just kind of looking at my shelves, thinking of some video ideas for you guys, and so I thought this would be a fun one. So, let's get started. The Silent Patient by Michaelides. A lot of people have already read this, but this one definitely shocked me, and there was a twist I did not see coming in this one. Similar to another book you'll see later, it was kind of iconic for me where it blew my mind, and it was so good. This will always be an all-time favorite. All of these are what I consider all-time favorite, forever. My forever all-time favorite list. So Silent Patient, this is one that I recommend to a lot of people. Definitely check it out. If you haven't read it already, you're missing out. So I actually have his third book, The Fury, that I haven't read yet, that hopefully I'll pick up soon. The Maidens is his other one. That one was just okay for me. I think I was more of the unpopular opinion, but it could be because I had such high expectations because this was such a favorite of mine. So we'll see how The Fury stands when I get to it. But Silent Patient is really good. You're following Alicia Berenson, who seems to have a perfect life. She's a famous painter. She's married to a fashion photographer. She lives in a grand house overlooking one of London's most desirable areas. And one evening, her husband Gabriel returns home late from work, and Alicia shoots him 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word. So Alicia's refusal to talk kind of turns into this famous domestic tragedy that really captures the public's imagination. And so a criminal psychotherapist, Theo Faber, is captivated by Alicia's story and jumps at the opportunity to work with her and try to unravel what happened and why she shot her husband and why she went mute. So good. So good. Okay, Riley Sager, the only one left. Now, you can't go wrong with any Riley Sager. Riley Sager is one of my favorite mystery thriller writers. Love him, love everything he writes. But I want to say this is my favorite one. The only one left. It's creepy. It's unnerving. You're following Lenora Hope, who her whole family died, and I don't want to give any spoilers away. Her whole family died. She was the only one left. It kind of follows a Lizzie Borden, which is a true story. You kind of get a Lizzie Borden vibe from it. And you have a character named, oh gosh, what was her name? Kit. Kit is kind of at a place where she really needs a job, and so she takes the job of being Lenora's nurse. Moves into this creepy house on the hill. And I'm just going to leave it at that. This one, from start to finish, I could not put down, and twist I didn't see coming. You kind of see a format. You kind of see a pattern with some of these. If I can't put it down, there's twists, and I love the characters. It's going to be an all-time favorite for me. Okay. Stacy Willingham, All the Dangerous Things, another really great one. She has a third one out that I have not read yet that I own, just like Michaelides, and her writing is really great. Both books I've read by her, they're so different, but were 5 stars for me. So in this one, you're following Isabella Drake. Her toddler son, Mason, was abducted from his crib in the middle of the night, which is every mother's worst fear. I can't ever imagine. She was just asleep in the next room. So the police try to figure out what happened to Mason. There's little evidence. The case quickly goes cold. But of course, as any good mother, Isabella cannot rest until Mason is returned. So she kind of goes down this rabbit hole, and she cannot sleep. She hasn't slept in almost a year. So you're kind of following an unreliable narrator as far as what is true. Is she seeing things? She hasn't slept forever. But her whole existence revolves around finding her son, which I can relate to. If my baby went missing, that's exactly what would happen with me. So that's all I want to say. Flicker in the Dark was her other one that was really good too. Honestly, I don't know that necessarily I like this one more than the Flicker in the Dark. They're both up there with top favorites. It's just the one I grabbed. So if you haven't given Stacy Willingham a chance, pick something up by her. I think you guys will love her. Okay, another one. I actually read this. Next one, close in time to The Silent Patient. It was like a back-to-back whammy of, oh my gosh, surprise, that was such a good book. I read both of these in a time of my life where I kind of had just picked back up reading more than, you know, a couple books here and there. And so these books, I think, also kind of mark a time in my life where I really started picking up reading the amount I read, my excitement for reading as an adult. So they're also special in that way. But this one is My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing. I have read everything Samantha Downing has read. This is definitely my favorite. Dexter meets Mr. and Mrs. Smith in this wildly compulsive debut thriller about a couple whose 15-year marriage has finally gotten too interesting. It says, every marriage has secrets. Everyone has flaws. Your wife isn't perfect. You know that. But then again, neither are you. You first saw her at an airport. You spent your last $20 to switch seats and sit next to her on the flight home. But it was worth it when you tenderly made your first joke and she laughed. You fell in love, you had kids, you moved to the suburbs, you told each other your biggest dreams and your darkest secrets. And then you got bored. We all have our secrets to keeping a marriage alive. Ours just happens to be getting away with murder. So this husband and wife plan and execute murders. That's all I'm going to say. Another twist, I was like mind blown. I was like, what? I did not see the twist coming in that one either. All right, this is a real recent read. I just talked about it, so I'll be short. But Jennifer McMahon, my darling girl, this was so creepy. Again, Jennifer McMahon in general. One of my other favorites by her is The Winter People. This was the first one I read by her. Unnerving, creepy. You should check out Jennifer McMahon if you're in for some spooky time. If you want some spooky time, Jennifer McMahon is your girl all the way. Okay, another favorite, I have two by Jennifer Hillier. She's a lot of backlist that I have yet to read. Jar of Hearts. This book blew my mind. Angela Wong, one of the most popular girls in school, disappears without a trace. And 14 years later, Angela's remains are discovered in the woods near Gio's childhood home. Kaiser, now a detective with Seattle PD, finally learns the truth. Angela was a victim of Calvin James. To the authorities, Calvin is a serial killer, but back in high school, he was Gio's first love. Turbulent and volatile, their relationship bordered on obsession from the moment they met up until the night Angela was killed. Gio knew what happened to Angela and told no one. For years, Gio carried the secret of Angela's murder until she was arrested and sent to prison. And now, just as she's being released, new bodies are turning up, killed in the exact same manner as her best friend. There are dark secrets buried deep, and what happened that fateful night is more complex and chilling than anyone really knows. This one was a favorite because I just felt like my jaw was to the floor the whole time. I don't want to give anything away, but if you like disappearance and secrets and return home, you're going to love this book. Another one that she wrote that I really liked are Things We Do in the Dark. These are my two favorite Jennifer Hilliers that I've read so far. But we're following Paris Peralta, and she is arrested in her own bathroom, covered in her husband's blood. Her husband's a celebrity, and she's charged for his murder. But as bad as this looks, that's not what worries her the most. With the unwanted media attention now surrounding her, it's only a matter of time before someone from her long-hidden past recognizes her and destroys the new life that she's worked so hard to build. So 25 years earlier, Ruby Reyes, known as the Ice Queen, was convicted of a similar murder in a trial that was a media sensation and riveted the nation. Reyes knows who Paris really is, and when Reyes is unexpectedly granted an early release from prison, she threatens to expose all of Paris' secrets. Left with no other choice, Paris must finally, once and for all, confront the dark past she thought she had escaped, because worse than a murder charge is her dark history getting out. So, another jaw-dropping thriller. Very good. Another favorite mystery thriller of mine is That Night by Chevy Stevens. She wrote The Night Road, which is a more recent one. That one I did not like. I didn't even feel like it was the same author, but everything I've read by her I really enjoyed. I kind of found her, I talked about in a previous video, where is it? In my previous video with green on the cover, I talked about Still Missing. And so when I found this author, I kind of just checked everything out at my library that they had by her. And I love everything I've read by her except for I think it's The Night Road. That one was such a disappointment. And I felt like that one came out after so many years of me like waiting for another Chevy Stevens book. So that was a huge disappointment. But this one, let's get back to this one. This one was so good. So you're following Toni Murphy. She's a teenager. She has a boyfriend named Ryan who she enjoys, a younger sister she can't relate to, a strained relationship with her parents, as do most teenagers at some point, right? And classmates that just want her life to be miserable. So she kind of struggles a little bit. These weren't easy, but Toni could never have predicted how horrific the night would become when her younger sister, was brutally murdered. Toni and her boyfriend Ryan are convicted of this crime of murdering her younger sister. So now 34, Toni is out on parole. She's out of prison. She's back in her hometown. She's trying to adjust to life on the outside of prison, and she's really struggling with that. She's doing everything in her power to avoid the media and avoid people from her past, but nothing's making it easy. Not Ryan, who's convinced that he can figure out who really murdered her sister. A great read. You should pick it up. Very fast-paced read. Love that one. All right, so let's talk about the Queen, Gillian Flynn. I mean, is anyone surprised? This is on the list. Gone Girl. One of those that just marked a time in my life where I was like, wow, I didn't know books could happen like that. This is just had such a good twist, and my mind was blown by the writing, the twist in the story, how connected and how much I was pulling for the characters, how invested I was. I want to really reread all of her books, all of her titles. She has 3 and then like a novella, and they were all great, all great. She's such a beautiful writer. I love it. I mean, shocking story. I know this was made into a movie. The movie was good. I enjoyed it, but not as good as the book, of course. Okay, last but not least, Alice Feeney, Daisy Darker. This one was so good. 5 stars. I really enjoyed Rock, Paper, Scissors by her as well, and Sometimes I Lie. Those are my top 3. I didn't really care for His and Hers. It was just okay. 3 stars. And I Know Who You Are was, again, forgettable. I don't even really remember what it's about. I read it, so that's not great. But this is, I would say, my favorite Alice Feeney book, Daisy Darker. This takes place in a Gothic mansion. You're on a tiny, secluded island. A whole family gathers for Nana's 80th birthday. Everyone has their own secrets. There's a storm. Nana's found dead. And every hour, someone that's in the house, a family member, ends up dead. So very much like Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. But oh my gosh, this book was so good. Yeah, so check out Alice Feeney if you haven't. If you're looking for secrets and a spooky setting, a thrilling book that will keep you guessing the whole way through, Alice Feeney will be a good match for you. So that is all. Those are some of my all-time favorite mystery thrillers. I hope you enjoyed this. Have you read any of these? Did I mention anything that was a favorite of yours? Comment down below. Thanks again for stopping by, and happy reading. Talk to you soon.